There are many aspects that I absolutely adore around becoming an older, iconic woman. And one of those is my 30 plus years experience working with women. I've noticed something profound throughout this expanse of time. And it's the ones who truly transform into their next level selves are those who are ready to go deep, deeper than they can even comprehend right now. They're willing to see things differently, to be curious rather than to cling onto old stories. They are the ones who refuse to stay stuck in their comfort zone or continue to intellectualize their struggles. Staying in your head isn't going to get you anywhere. Instead, they are open. They're ready to try new ways of thinking, feeling, believing, and 100% they're willing to dive into the unknown. Welcome to the Star Monroe Show, hosted by your stylish self, Star Monroe, psychotherapist, master life coach, and founder of the High Standards Woman. This podcast is for the ambitious, driven woman who demands more. Demand more, darling, demand more. Who are ready to align with their higher selves. I call her Inner Muse, and embody their inherent worth and magnetize everything they desire. Yes. You see, real change isn't about staying comfortable or glossing over your pain with surface level solutions. And this is something that I see day in, day out when I'm working with my private clientele. And I was only working with a client last night, and we always do a check-in at the beginning of our call, and I'm like, how are you? And she's not the only one. She'll go, yes, everything's fine, everything's good. And I'm like, that's amazing. Okay, so let's take a moment, and I invite you to go inside. How is everything? And it's that willingness to go inside. So you're not just living on that surface level, because we need to go deeper to access what's really going on. And if I come back to what real change is about, it's about questioning everything. Every belief you've held about who you are, what you're worth, and what you can achieve. Question it and keep questioning it. It means facing the uncomfortable truths. Oh, yes. There are some uncomfortable truths lurking inside you, and yet those are the ones that are going to set you free. And in the process, it's about sitting with the emotions that you'd rather ignore, brush them under the carpet, or numb with that glass of Sauvignon or Chablis or Cabernet Sauvignon, whatever you're drinking, and choosing to rewrite the narratives that no longer serve you. Before I go on, all of this needs to work in symphony. You cannot just rewrite your narratives without feeling your emotions, without digging deeper. This is why affirmations and just thinking your way forward into your next level version of yourself isn't going to work, because I call it the alignment code. It's another one of my 9 core concepts in the High Standards Woman Finishing School. And I'm smiling because I'm just like, darling, I've done the work. I have made the mistakes so you don't have to. I've got the step-by-step process that is going to lead you into your High Standards Woman era. And the alignment code is about bringing your mind, body, and soul together so they're working in harmony. And I know you have tried to think your way into a new future, think your way into a new version of you, but something keeps getting in your way, yes? I know you're nodding your head. And that thing that's getting in your way is your body doesn't feel safe. You're not feeling what's really going on. And also, you've probably picked up some shoddy information from social media where you're just like, oh, I just need to keep going. If I just believe harder, if I do more, I'm going to get it. No, I've been there. It doesn't work. You've got to be able to meet yourself where you're at, and you've got to befriend all parts of you that do not feel safe, that feel scared. Again, I was working with another client yesterday, and she's like, "Yes, I'm going to change my life. I'm no longer going to attract toxic men." And we were talking about it. She goes, "Yes, I just want to go, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm never going to answer another call from my exes." And I was like, "That's really great, and I hear you." And I want to make sure that every part of you inside your body is on board with this. And as she took a beat and settled back into her body, into the present moment, she went, "Oh, there's a part that's scared." And then we explored the part that was scared. And so you cannot sashay off into the future without meeting yourself where you're at and really honoring and paying reverence to all those parts, even the parts that you do not like. I'm not asking you to like them. What I'm doing is, what I'm inviting you to do is to learn to be humble in their presence, to give them the respect they deserve. Because all these parts, so say my client from last night, she was scared. That part's a protector. You're so clever. Your body is so clever. Your mind is so clever. It protects you. And so we have to befriend these protectors, and because otherwise they defend. And what happens is, and again, I'm sure you've done this, and I definitely did this in my past, is you will pursue and there's a part of you that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it happen, and you will. And if you don't befriend the parts of you that feel scared, overwhelmed, anxious, they are going to turn up at some point on your journey, and they are going to pull everything down. You're going to call it self-sabotage. It's not self-sabotage. They're protecting. They're like, we do not feel safe here. This abort mission. And the amount of times in my past that I have built something up and then tore it down because there was a part of me that didn't believe that we should be here. So, yes, it's a symphony of work, it's all embodied in a core concept which I call the alignment code. So let's go back into what we were talking about, and actually what I am talking about is following the red thread. So I'm going to get there in a minute. So, on my journey from addiction, alcoholism, self destruction, to becoming the iconic woman I am today, I learned that the only way to change was to take radical responsibility for myself. So, this is the willingness to see yourself deeper, to really embody your truths, see your truths. I had to be brutally honest about my choices, my patterns, and the role I played in my own suffering. I'm going to spring off into another story here. I remember working with one of my clients. She was with me for many, many years, and she had just discovered her husband was having an affair. And we held the space for her to process that information. It was very raw at the beginning. And then as she was moving through, because I always believe when you find out someone has betrayed you, it's a process of grief. So as she was processing, navigating grief, which is not linear, by the way, it has its own organic spiraling story to itself, and we need to allow that to happen. I said to her, I was like, well, what part did you play in all of this? No, she didn't slap me. She was about to, though. And when she took a beat that was when we started to do the real work, and she understood, ah, I was in this game and I had a part to play. And I still see this client online. She's a dear friend of mine, and her husband is as well. And actually, I'm going to cry. I actually went to their wedding. They got married, so they rekindled their flame. And they are the happiest that they've ever been, because she did the work on herself. He did work on himself, and they decided that the most important thing for them to do is to come together and build a relationship. So you might hear me talk about, I'm consciously single. I choose to be consciously single, and I talk about decentering men. And it's essential that we did this work with this client. Like, she had to decenter her partner and she had to center herself. And that was the whole work. And this never means that relationships are off the table. It means that you're the prize, you own your worth. And I see them all the time, traveling the world. They are having the best time. And because of the work that we did, she they get on well, they communicate, they hear each other. I told you that was a story that was going off. So let me come back. So I was talking about how I had to really look at the role I was playing in my own suffering. And this is the conduit that changes everything. I had to be willing to see myself, my life, and my future in a completely different light. And this is my invitation for you. If you are propelled, pulled, compelled to step into your high standards woman era, then yeah, you're going to have to look at yourself differently. You're going to have to do things differently. And let me tell you, when you have the courage to do that, when you truly take ownership of you, your story, everything begins to shift. Your highest self, the version of you that I call the inner muse, is already within you, and she is complete, she's whole, she's untouched by all the stuff that you have gone through in life. And this is what happens inside us as we experience trauma, upheaval, angst. What happens? We are so clever. I've already said that there are parts of us that will protect, and we create different parts of us to protect this wholeness of us. And so you're never broken. You're never broken. What you're doing is chipping away at the patterns that you have taken on board, the parts of you that you've learned how to survive in life. And so your inner muse is already within you. And she is, as I said, she's vibrant, whole, she's all powerful, and she isn't burdened by the lies you've been told or the limitations you've accepted. She's waiting for you to come back home to her. And the way back is through what I call the red thread. So the red thread is those moments in life that make you feel truly alive, connected, and at peace. And so I want to talk about this some more, because that red thread, it is your job to start seeing it and paying homage and reverence to it. So it could be the glow of a breathtaking sunset, the sensation of a luxurious cashmere sweater against your skin, the empowerment that comes from you choosing yourself. Like, oh, I'm not going to scroll endlessly in the evenings. I'm actually going to sit by my little lamp and put the candles on and read my book. It could be the fact that you walk away from a relationship or person that doesn't honor and respect you. These are the moments that awaken something deep inside you. These, tapping my desk, these are the breadcrumbs that will lead you back to yourself. And I've had these breadcrumbs all the time, all throughout my life. Oh God, I'm very tearful today as I'm talking to you. And it's like, I didn't listen to them. I ignored them. I dismissed them because my ego was searching for something bigger. And it's not, it's nothing is inconsequential. So it's the fact that I felt so at home when I came on vacation to Turkey and now I live here. It's the fact that I love nature and now I live in nature. I live in the countryside. It's the fact that I love silence and I live in solitude. It's the fact that I love luxurious things. And I told myself, no, 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 you can't have these things. You should be happy with your lot. You see where Desperella comes into this now. And it's not, it's like, no, I'm meant to be surrounded by a luxurious, elegant environment and lifestyle. It's about, oh, here you go. I'm going to keep going with this. It's about me knowing when I go to bed around 10:30 at night, I get a great night's sleep. It's knowing when I get up at 6:30 in the morning that I get so much done in the morning because I'm a morning person. It's knowing that I needed a descent to men last year after I was repeating all the same patterns and habits, and I made that decision to choose myself. It's knowing that I needed to stop drinking, and I knew it would come, and I pulled it into my life. Can you see where I'm going with this? It's knowing that I need to eat regularly and minimize the sugar, which actually here's another story on that. Is I hired a personal trainer. I'm going to go off a tangent, but we will come back. I hired a personal trainer back in September, and I said I really need to look at my diet because I'm not eating enough food. I'm existing on hardly anything, and I know it's not good for me. Plus, I'm training in the gym all the time. So he changed all my diet. He was like, you need to eat more protein and you need to, well, he didn't say I needed to eliminate cake. But what I did, I was like, I need to eat cake. I'm a woman who eats cake. Listen to this. This is good. I'm a woman who eats cake. I cannot give my cake up. And so I tried to pull in more protein and still eat my cake. And then all of a sudden, about a month in, I was like, oh, I can't do this. I'm really struggling. And I'm trying, but it's not working. And I wasn't blaming him. I was like, I just need to figure this out. And I really want to eat my cake. And then he came back to me and he said, and he was very straight to the line. He was like, you need to eat more protein. You need to put more protein into your body because you need to fuel yourself. Your energy levels are up and down because I was complaining about my energy levels. And he said, you really do need to do this. Otherwise, it's not worth doing the program. I love it when people will just lay it straight down the line for me. And so I went away from that. I was like, right, okay, we need to double down on this. And I knew as I was shifting all of this, I think I was saying last week's episode, I love to have a moan and a rant. And then that's my process. And then I'm like, oh no, we have to change because whatever changes I'm making is a lifestyle shift. So I was like, right, figure out how you can get your proteins in. And I did that. And all of a sudden, I didn't want to eat the cake. I wasn't craving sugar. And then as a consequence to that, and, and I'm still discovering more things, all my aches and pains in my body went away because I'm not eating sugar. And then I was doing my blood pressure this morning, and my blood pressure is the lowest it's ever been for 6 years, 10 years maybe. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? And I'm convinced it's not just one thing. I'm training hard. I've got great sleep hygiene. I've changed my food, and I've got this really good healthy routine that's my body's loving. So if I come back to the red thread led me here. The red thread led me here because I was like, oh, I need to hire someone to teach me about eating well, to teach me what I need to be doing in the gym, because it's a long time since I hired a personal trainer. And, you know, there's a part of me that thinks she knows everything. Oh, I love that part. I love you so much. But it's not. It's like there are other people out here, and I'm one of them that can teach you more about moving through the world. You don't have to suffer, you don't have to struggle. This is why we hire people to work with, because we make our journey quicker, more efficient, and we're not stumbling around in the dark. And so I want to repeat this one more time, because this is all about following the red thread. I followed the red thread because I knew I had to change my diet, and I knew I had to hire someone. And that was rolling around in my head for ages. And then all of a sudden I was like, right, it's time. And then I found someone. So let's get back. This is like a podcast within a podcast within a podcast today. The high standards woman doesn't settle for less. You know this. I know this. She knows that her worth is non-negotiable. Ooh, write that down. Write that down. My worth is non-negotiable. She lives a life in alignment with her highest potential. She chooses herself every single day. And it's not out of arrogance. And yet here's another story. I actually quite like being a little bit arrogant. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think you've been brainwashed so much about being a nice girl, a good girl. Arrogance is good, used in the right potency, the right blend. We never say it's wrong for a man to be arrogant. We just say, oh, they're arrogant. But a woman arrogant, how dare she? What a bitch. No, be a bitch. Be a little bit arrogant. I call it be more Russian. And I'm sure I've told you this story. Being here in Turkey, it's you got to hold yourself. You got to hold yourself firmly. You got to be grounded. You got to know who you are, because I tell you what, I mean, I get it. Like, people come to Turkey and go, "Oh my God, everyone's so friendly and nice." Well, they are friendly and nice because they want your money, because you're on holiday. You live here. It's different. It's different. And people will take advantage of you. And so you have to be able to hold yourself. And I was enamored, and I looked up to the Russian women. A couple of years ago, there was an influx of Russians here, and they never smiled. They held themselves with dignity, with respect. And so I always say, be more Russian, be more Russian. And this is, you know, as I sort of springboard into arrogance, but it's yeah, play around with being a little bit arrogant. And it comes from this deep respect for who you are. You care about who you are, you respect who you are and who you're becoming. The high standards woman knows that her desires are meant for her. And in fact, I just did a TikTok, I think it was yesterday or today. When you say, I want something, it implies that you don't already have it. It's the knowing that whatever is for you, it's there. You're walking into it. It's already there. If you're ready to meet your high standards woman, to become the woman who always gets what she wants, I am here 100% to walk beside you on that journey. Together, we'll peel back the layers of your conditioning, because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And you've got to follow that red thread every single day. Every single day, at the end of your day, where was the red thread today? Where was the red thread? Because if you're not noticing it, if you're not taking any notice, no, you're never going to see it. And you're going to stay stuck in your ways. And yet, for the ones who want to do things differently, who want to step into the high standards era, I'm here for you, baby. I'm here. Together. It's about peeling back the layers of conditioning, rewriting your limiting beliefs, aligning your body into safety, the alignment code, and igniting the power of your inner muse that is already existing within you. You are so much more than the stories you've been telling yourself. Write that down. I am so much more than the stories I've been telling myself. I am here to embrace the fullness of who I am. I am here committed to be my most excellent version, and I am eyes wide open, heart wide open to follow the red thread back to my highest self. Can we take an amen? You know what's coming, don't you? The high standards woman finishing school. It's coming. It's a coming, baby. It's a proven method. It's the whole shebang. It's a whole lifestyle shift for you. Everything that I've learned over these years has been condensed down into a step-by-step proven method that is going to guide you into becoming the woman who always gets what she wants. Be the first to know. When doors open, join the waitlist. Everything you need is in the show notes. I appreciate you. I see you. I honor you. I'm here for you. There is so much more in this world waiting for you when you demand more from yourself. Join me each week on the Star Monroe Show for transformational conversations, insights, and strategies to help you rise up. I'm standing up. I want you to stand up with me. Stand up, rise up, embrace your unapologeticness and live. You're here to live a life that makes sense to you. Stop trying to over explain yourself to everyone. Stop trying to prove yourself. Stop seeking external validation. It's time, come on, to become the woman who always gets what she wants.